अस्सलाम वालेकुम, आप देख रहे हैं ज़ेब एफएम डिजिटल और मैं हूं आपकी होस्ट शहमाला फ़िरोज़। हम एक और नया पॉडकास्ट लेके हाज़िर हुए हैं फॉर लीडर इन मी, जो कि हमारा एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट एज अ प्रोजेक्ट कर रहा है। और इसमें हमने आपसे पहले भी कहा था, हम बहुत सारे अच्छे अच्छे गेस्ट को इनवाइट करेंगे जो अपनी अपनी फील्ड में कहीं ना कहीं एज अ लीडर काम कर रहे हैं। तो आज के शो में हमारे साथ जो बड़ी ही प्यारी सी गेस्ट मौजूद हैं, उनका नाम है आफरीन। और मैं चाहूँगी कि आफरीन, आप अस्सलाम वालेकुम सबसे पहले तो।
वालेकुम सलाम।
होप यू आर डूइंग अ गुड,
यस
हैविंग अ गुड डे।
यस यस थैंक
आफरीन, कुछ बताइए अपने बारे में, बचपन से कहाँ से शुरू हुई और अब यहाँ
यू।
तक
सो
पहुँची।
अगर चाइल्डहुड की बात की जाए तो बचपन से ही बहुत शौक था टीचर बनने का। एंड देन घर आके प्रैक्टिस करती थी और कोई नहीं भी होता था तो आई वुड जस्ट टॉक टू द वर्ल्ड एंड आई थिंक दैट वाज माय कॉलिंग एंड आई स्टार्टेड माय करियर एज अ होम रूम टीचर in school in Dubai, and I spent like a decade in United Arab Emirates. Transition from being a homeroom teacher to a classroom teacher, then to an academic coordinator, and then I moved
Nice.
to Pakistan.
Okay.
और फिर पाकिस्तान में भी education did not stop me from escalating ahead. I mean, resumed my journey from the city school, then moved to Amal Academy, and then of course, doing multiple things at the same time.
That's nice to know. So, shifting Pakistan, was it because of some
Yes,
major?
it was COVID.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, it's very nice to know after a long time कि किसी ने एजुकेशन को बाय चॉइस चूज़ किया हो, वरना टीचर्स तो ज़्यादातर बाय एक्सीडेंट ही होते हैं
Yeah.
कि हाँ ठीक है, जॉब के बीच में कहीं गैप आ रहा था या कहीं डिग्री के बीच में गैप आ रहा था, तो हमने एज अ टीचिंग ज्वाइन कर लिया और उसके बाद अब हमने टीचिंग को एज अ प्रोफेशन ले लिया. सो इट्स गुड टू नो कि आपने तो बाकायदा
Yeah.
चूज़ किया.
Absolutely.
So, what was actually the very inspiring moment जब ये फैसला किया?
Because it was my own teacher. She inspired me, and because of her inspiration, I still follow her. I am still in touch with her. So I think एक teacher का बहुत pivotal role होता है आपकी personality shape करने में.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And she is that teacher. She is that mentor for me that actually gave me a way direction that this is the true way for me.
Okay. So I want you to say a note of thanks to your teacher. This is the best platform to say thank you.
So, Miss Fernazia, this is for you. I owe it to you. You were my inspiration. Thank you so much for being who you were and who you are today.
Our today's topic is designing engagement classrooms. So obviously you have been working on that particular thing. So what do you think? How do you make a classroom an engaging classroom?
All right, so from a teacher's perspective, a classroom is not only engaging when a teacher is talking and students are listening. ये वो दौर है नहीं. I mean, maybe there was a time that it used to happen from probably जिस era से हम लोग belong करते हैं उस time पे ये था. But now passive listening is no more the forte. It's all about engagement. It's all about action. It's all about student-centric classes.
Yes.
And when we talk about student-centric classes, now teacher is only a facilitator.
Yes,
She
absolutely.
is no more a teacher, and it's all about having that vision where teacher shifts the energy from giving directions, from sharing that control to passing that control to the students.
Yes.
And it's all about giving them that autonomy to present ideas, talk in collaboration, and do multiple engagements and see them empowering over the classroom and beyond.
Yes. So, do you think that by saying the word engaging classrooms, is it the environment that actually engages the students, or is it the aura of a teacher, or is it the methodology or the pedagogy the teacher is using during the lessons?
That's a very good question. I'll take a different, perspective on each of them. Environment may play a role in it because I have seen students and teachers doing wonders sitting in an open village,
Yes.
sitting under the thatched roof and taking classes. बारिश हो रही है, classes चल रही हैं, पानी भी आ रहा है, and they don't even have proper resources in the classroom, but तब भी एक active classroom हो रही है और engagement हो रही है. So maybe for some environment may matter, but I think again coming back to my same point, it's the teacher. It's the teacher, and the teacher is the one who adopts and adapts to different teaching methodologies in the classroom
Yes.
and makes it fun learning, not only for the students, also for him or her own self. Because if I am a teacher, I would be bored if I'm repeating the same thing every day,
Absolutely.
every
Absolutely.
same methodology from like 16 years in this field, and still counting on. So it's all about adaptability. It's all about your strategies, your pedagogies that you're implementing in the classroom, and making your students be your fan.
Yes. That's actually the main thing.
Exactly.
And I think when we go in the classroom as a teacher, so our role is supposed to be a teacher, but actually we are also a student because we are also learning from our learners each and every moment. So I think when that connection actually builds up and when that mindset is actually there in the teacher, that actually becomes
Yeah.
engaging.
I
right?
really want to pick up a word what you said, mindset. And this mindset shift is so like integral part of teachers and teaching methodology that I mean it's not gone are those days teacher जाके classroom में sessions deliver कर रहा है and students are being the passive listeners and they're taking notes or they're just listening and nodding their heads. It's about teachers and educators need to shift their mindset from
Yes,
fixed
absolutely.
mindset to growth mindset, and we need to empower our own self, and we need to let go of traditional methods, and we need to let go of those rote learning methods that we have once encountered.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
it's I mean, if I had to say that education is now completely revolutionized. So yeah, mindset shift.
Education has been revolutionized. The system, the setups, the mindset,
Absolutely,
everything
yeah.
is actually on ongoing change.
True, right.
What does an engaging classroom look like in real life, especially when you walk into a busy primary or middle school class?
Okay, for me, if I am walking into an engaging classroom, it should be buzzing with productive noise. It should not be silent. It should be where the students are collaborating, discussing, sharing ideas with each other, probably in a very interesting activity of think, pair, share, or they are given that charge to come and to present or to lead group discussions. So productive noise is not always chaos. It's
Absolutely.
always more empowering to see students lead. Again, teacher-centered classes should be erased by now, and in most part of the world,
It has been.
it has been erased.
Mm.
It's now the students who are the spear leader basically.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, I think we all enjoy that. You
Why
enjoy
not?
that.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, having said that, that teachers are basically the main leaders when we are talking about the engaging classrooms. So, how do you see? Do we have in this current scenario that the teachers are actually that much trained to have that sort of engagement in the classroom? Having said that, that we are having a mixed ability group students in our classrooms these days.
Right. So again, there are two different questions. Talking about first,
The
are-
trained teachers.
Yes.
right?
Do we have trained teachers? No, we don't have trained teachers. That training, that guidance is deeply lacking, and we need more of the organizations, schools in particular, take active decision in, and many schools are doing that. They train their teachers, but again, it's something need to be, you train your teachers, but you need to allow the teachers to practice,
Yes.
because teachers are also overburdenized.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Coming to the second part of the question is that mixed ability groups. I think this is something very close to my heart, because creating an inclusive classroom is so important, because I have seen many teachers, they treat students on a same scale.
Yes.
If there are 25 students in your class, a teacher assumes सबका एक ही cognitive level है.
They are
I
treating
mean,
like the
it's
single
yeah,
yardstick.
that's not the case. We need. I mean, the teachers themselves need to break this bias. Every student is special. Every student is talented and equally gifted in their own ways. It's the teacher's job to figure out which child stands where. And when it comes to figuring out, there are a lot of ways teacher can find out by, formative assessments, background checks, diagnostic tests, and on the go quiz or survey forms, exit tickets. I
Indeed.
mean, you name it, and we have a strategy for that. But identifying your learner and then grouping your learners accordingly, and it's teachers' preparation for the class which makes it effective, that she is well equipped, she has resources to cater all levels of the children that are present in the class.
Absolutely, absolutely. And on that point, I want to add that I think the teachers who are in the profession and who are thinking to come in the profession, they should think about getting trained before entering the profession, because it's such a noble profession. And if you are coming like bare hand, and if you just think that you have a very good subject knowledge and then you can teach in the class, that's actually not possible, and that's actually not being honest with the students.
Absolutely.
So having a background of how to teach, how to how to actually learn about the child psychology and the lesson planning and everything, the teachers should think about getting trained first, getting a degree in education or something, and then come into the field.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Totally, I second your point on that, because subject knowledge, let alone, is not sufficient.
Absolutely.
The right training. I mean, how can you expect a doctor to perform perform an operation on the patient if he or she is not, given that training or the use of instruments?
Absolutely.
Otherwise, it's going to be a disaster.
Yes.
So
It's
similarly,
like driving a car without getting a license or getting trained.
absolutely. I mean, training is like it should be mandatory,
Mm.
and I think before choosing this profession, the teacher should do the justice to himself or herself,
Yes,
that you
absolutely.
should get certified.
And I
before.
think teachers are like the pilots of a ship, of an aeroplane.
Exactly. True. Very
When you
true.
go and then there is nothing going come back.
Exactly. Very true.
Okay. So, how can everyday technology like short videos, digital boards, or quick online quizzes, uh, do you think that they can enhance classroom engagement? Because right now we are saying that AI is the era, and we have to go on STEM learning and things like that. So, do you think?
I think why not? And I'll give you an example. I'll start with an example to answer this question. If I want my learner to be technology smart as well, and I want the learning as well to take place, probably the creative writing essay she has written in the class, I can ask him that why do if that essay is like extempore, I can ask my student to go record yourself, and we can publish it as a blog on the
Yes.
school's
That's
channel.
a very good idea, actually.
So this allows the student to feel appreciated, and at the same time you are you are giving that opportunity to the student to practice communication skills, to be good with vocals, to be good with eye camera first. I mean everything is included.
Everything.
So technology and education and learning can take place simultaneously together.
Yes, and I think when we are inculcating different things, or when we are integrating different disciplines, it's actually building the profile of that particular child.
Absolutely.
And
I would like to give an example, one more here. My son, he's in 10th standard, and he was supposed to write, a blog story based on an opening lines were provided and some cues were given according to Cambridge criterion. And but of course, teachers and we all know that how much AI has prevailed in our lives.
yes, absolutely.
The instructions from the teacher was that you have to write the essay using the AI and bring the script next day to the class.
Okay.
Very easy, right?
Interesting.
And I was like, okay. The next day, when he came back from school, and he was like, Mama, then we were asked to paraphrase this into the summary.
Oh, nice.
So,
the teacher must be very
yes,
smart.
exactly. So this is how, you know, different pedagogies and different smart ideas needs to be embedded in the lesson planning to make the teacher smart, not, you know, making the learner or the educator hard worker
Yes.
rather than the smart worker.
Smart work. That's actually correct. Very correct. When you see that there are different levels or different layers. So, what do you think that what is the most um, workable or most favorite strategy that a teacher can use in an early years and in a primary years?
So if I see early years, they are usually either coming from, you know, shuru mein they are very cranky, they are settling in. Probably teachers can, you know, ask them to do show and tell activity. Early years के जितने भी बच्चे हैं, they love show and tell. They just love it. Bringing their favorite toy or a favorite teddy from their couch or from their bedroom and talking about it and maybe sharing it with your partner in the classroom. I think that will also make that early year toddler very comfortable and be having that willingness to come to the classroom every day.
I think that actually gives that child a sense of belonging.
Absolutely.
When we
Ownership.
talk about Maslow's hierarchy and
Exactly.
everything.
So, and then when we shift to primary level, in primary by that time they are adjusted, they know how things work, and then instead of pair share, they can come up in front of the class and talk about it, starting the class with, you know, reflections. What did you do today? What you could have done better, or maybe today you have scored 8 on 10, how can you make it better? Not like allowing them that even if you have lost a mark here and there, what can you do better? Because, you know, sadly the education system in Pakistan is all about assessments, gradings, numbers, and which also like makes a student very much, you know, ingrained towards just producing numbers, but whereas the learning, you know, curve deviates.
Yes,
So we-
somewhere in between we have actually lost the essence of learning,
Absolutely.
exploring and researching.
So when we provide opportunities to the students in the classroom to just talk about themselves, even if I ask you that, you know, tell me about yourself, what have you been doing all of this time? हमें अपने बारे में बात करना बहुत अच्छा लगता है. Everyone
and
does
we
it.
instantly get connected.
So the same formula needs to be applied on the students.
Yes.
Allow them to talk, because they talk, they create distractions, or if the child is disturbing your class, make him the center and shift that energy totally on that child.
Yes, and that actually builds the rapport between the teacher and
Exactly.
the student also.
Yes,
That's a very good
absolutely.
strategy.
Yeah.
Well, nice answer. Okay, so what small environmental changes, either they could be seating or displays or flexible spaces, something that can instantly make a classroom more engaging? Because students get monotonous with the uniformity.
Yeah. Making them shift their seating arrangement into like a U shape, or depending upon, you know, the availability of the space, changing the shifts, changing the dynamics, allowing them to come into the front, those who have been sitting at the back, making them sit into groups, remove the tables, just sit in circles or a semicircle, because in this manner they feel more connected. When there's a formal table, they know that, you know, they cannot cross the barrier, and they are empowered to, or they are, forced to, you know, abide by that. But once in a while, maybe just in a week, if you let this thing go, they start enjoying the class, and eventually they fall in love with your subject and with the teacher as well.
So, how can well designed lessons reduce behavioral issues and increase students' focus in the class?
I think lesson planning is that one bull's eye dart, वो जो आपके dart लगता है जाके. If your lesson plan is structured, it's well planned, and it's meeting all the criteria, be it your starter activity, your learning objectives for that matter, the resources that you're using. And even if you're not using any resources, you are just being you.
Yes.
I think lesson plan is one justice a teacher can do to the profession
Yes,
and for the
absolutely,
students and to the
absolutely.
subject. Um, I think there are like multiple trainings that I've also conducted in just telling the teachers that how to design a lesson plan. Again, you can provide the water, but you cannot force the horse to drink the water, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
If you love designing it, automatically it will flows. A good lesson plan is like a Bible, and if a teacher follows constructively in the class, she will not only produce better results, even better engagement and better responses from the students as well. It's like you give and you get. This is how it is.
Do you think that teachers actually take lesson planning seriously?
No, they don't.
It's highly underrated, right?
Yes. According to the survey by Higher Education Commission,
Mhm.
it's very ironic to say 63% of the teachers, they don't even have lesson plans in the classroom.
That's
And-
absolutely true.
And I think 63% is more than 50% about it. And if I start, let that sink in, that 63% teachers are walking in the classroom without a lesson plan, how do they even teach? Is it like spur on the moment? We understand, even like you as an educator, I'm as an educator, I know that we know what to teach. But without planning, you cannot even make a good
A
child.
teacher is a human being, and it's not possible to have everything in mind at that particular moment.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, I cannot process this information that walking into the classroom without a lesson plan does not. I mean, I'm sorry to say, it does not make you a good teacher at all. At all. Yeah.
Well, maybe there are some teachers who get offensive.
Okay, I'm sorry about
It's
that.
okay, it's okay. But actually, that's a rule.
Yeah.
Even you are going for a early years tier or for the middle tier or for the higher level,
Yeah.
you have to have some kind of a homework done before
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
मतलब इट्स नॉट लाइक कि आप बहुत एक्सपीरियंस टीचर हैं तो आप कहें कि मुझे तो ज़रूरत ही नहीं है लेसन प्लान की. इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. इट्स लाइक व्हेन यू आर गोइंग समवेयर, आप किसी दावत में भी जाते हो तो अपनी एक
Exactly.
बहुत
You
करके
do
जाते
your
हो ना.
preparation, you
बिल्कुल.
take out your best dress,
हाँ.
you do your stuff, you get ready, and
Yes.
so how can
So
you
in
go
class you are
unprepared?
actually running a show. You are
Absolutely.
running a show.
Exactly.
So it's actually, being honest, it's not doing justice.
Because now what happens, ये वही teachers हैं, these are the same teachers who do not let the autonomy shift towards the students.
Yes.
I mean, if you observe, ये कौन सी teachers हैं who are not carrying lesson plans, जिनकी classes teacher centered होती हैं.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
they will not be carrying lesson plans, and they do not allow a student to probably ask a question or to challenge a question or to challenge an information. It will be like just delivering and getting the 35 or 40 minutes
For
class
this.
done.
So, what are some of the effective ways that teachers can give students like choice in tasks or projects or assessments to boost ownership? It's like empowering the children, the students.
Now you have like a plethora of activities, on ground activities that you can provide them with, engage them with, ask them to arrange a debate club. I mean, instead of teacher stepping in and doing everything, it's about give instructions, clarify your expectations, give them the roles. You do this, you will be in charge of this, you are going to take care of this. Even on primary level, let them take charge of it. Arrange the classroom. Today we are having a birthday party. This you are supposed to blow the balloons. I mean, when you delegate task, when you give them the trust that I trust you with this work, they will surprise you, and you're going to see that they will produce outstanding results. Your camaraderie between the teacher and the student will develop, and Now, if you see many schools, they are like actively organizing TEDx speaker programs,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
it's not done by the teachers. The autonomy is given to the students.
Even now, the PTMs are actually led by the learners.
Absolutely.
That is empowering learners.
The students are asked that, okay, now you tell how you are doing in the subject. This is what the shift is.
Yes.
And we need to keep on adapting.
How can teachers balance the pressure of curriculum completion with the need to make learning meaningful and engaging?
So, as you know, in Pakistan, we are on a chase of completing curriculums, syllabus, and meeting deadlines and term-wise evaluations. I understand it's important, and because when we are in a system, so we are bound to follow it. But at the same time, one session or one unit or two units away from that, just put everything aside and just connect with your students is does I mean makes your learning and your teaching effective. Also, your student will come up with questions and will be like, Miss, I have a problem in this particular thing that you taught last week. It will also allow and enable your student to interact with you. So,
Absolutely.
keeping the momentum of your curriculum intact, you can allow some relaxation. It will not only benefit your teaching strategies, it will heavily, benefit the students as well.
Okay, in our program, we have a very interesting activity
Okay.
that is called a rapid fire
All
round.
right.
But before doing that, I want to ask you that, well, you are serving in a very well reputed organization. So, as a leader, what do you think what is your leadership style actually?
Okay.
Are you that autocratic type, typical leader, or the one who gives autonomy to the teammates?
All right. So, my team who's working with me, I will not say under me, the who's working with me, we are very open in communication. And I always set clear and set, the expectations that I have from day one, that if there's a problem, don't sit back and hold, speak
Okay.
up. When you hold and, confine in, I think that keeps on building the problem. You're like suppressing, and that suppressing, when it comes out, it just explodes. So open communication and giving that autonomy and trusting your teammates is very important, and working in collaboration and synergy. This is what I do.
Nice. Okay, so do you believe in making clones of your leadership style?
I would paraphrase clones with a better like word, not clones, or a better version of Afreen.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice, nice.
Because I believe that we evolve with every experience. Every day teaches you something, and I want to make a better version of myself.
Hearing something from you like that, I want to ask, how do you define your leadership in 3 words?
Empathy,
Okay.
accountability, and ownership.
Okay, and what is that fourth that you want to change?
Hmm. Work life balance.
Work-life balance. Okay, that I can understand.
You get that.
Yes. Okay. So, Afrin, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I see myself, starting my own educational setup and empowering educators at the same time, and making them the leaders that the world needs, empowering them and cultivating those 21st century skills in them that are needed for like 50 years ahead, because that's what policymakers do, and that is what we need in our education system.
That is actually the need of the time.
Absolutely.
Okay, Afrin, while I was going through your profile, I saw that you have worked majorly on the Sustainable Development Goals. So, do you see in Pakistan we are working on those lines the way we should?
And the answer is absolutely no. We are not working at all.
That would be a very big question and enlightening moment for so many sisters.
Yes. It's not that the work is not going on, it is going on. Awareness on the grassroots level is zero, minimal.
Yes.
I mean, if I go and walk in, let's say, in a grade 6 student of any elite school, and I ask the student that what is sustainability? What are SDGs? And if the child is not able to answer it, I think that's
Yes.
something we need to. I think that's troubling.
At least the basic awareness of the SDG should be there
Should
from
be
the
there.
very beginning.
Yeah, I think we need to embed this into our curriculums, into our syllabus, and as an educator, as a policymaker, as a curriculum designer, um, this thing needs to be integrated at all levels. I think Sindh National Curriculum also
Is actually
responsible for
they
it
have
as well.
included the SDGs in their policy. We have seen
Exactly.
that. But I think the most important thing is we should not keep it till the activity level. We should bring it in the classroom teaching. For example, you just said that students don't know what are SDGs.
And why they are important? Why are we talking
Yes,
about it?
Actually.
I mean, out of nowhere, a new word has evolved, and everybody except Pakistan. I mean, it is happening. Many organizations have adopted a lot of sustainable practices, and I like that's commendable.
Yes, absolutely.
But we need more of it. We need a lot more of
a
it.
lot more of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Inshallah, we will be doing something.
Inshallah.
Shall we begin our rapid fire round?
All right. Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay, so the format is I'm going to ask you a question and then you are going to answer me very quick.
Okay.
Okay, it's a rapid fire.
Yes.
Okay, so one teaching tool you can't live without.
All right. So it is definitely, formative assessments.
AFL.
Yes.
Okay,
Strategies.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, lecture, discussion, or activity. Your favorite teaching style?
Discussion.
Discussion. The classroom engagement.
Yes.
Okay. Next, the most engaging classroom you have ever seen in one word.
Buzzing bees.
Good. A trend in education you think will shape future classrooms.
Inclusivity of digitalization.
Okay. Good. One thing every teacher should stop doing immediately.
They should let go of the traditional methods.
Okay. Yes, that's actually important. One thing every teacher should start more often.
Empathy.
Group work or individual tasks?
Group work.
Okay. Student empowerment or just giving them tasks by yourself?
Student empowerment.
One hands-on activity students always enjoy.
Jigsaw puzzle. And you give them any problem and they bring up solutions for it. They talk in groups and present their idea. Or maybe you can ask them to write a word cloud for the lesson that they have just covered up.
Okay, nice. Traditional classroom or flexible seating?
Flexible seating.
Your go-to energizer for sleepy students?
Oh, it's just asking them to stand up and move around, or giving them instructions that I normally do this, that move right, move left, up, down. I mean, making them just more agile and using their body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or giving them the instructions and asking them to do the opposite. Like if I'm asking them to turn right, they don't have to turn right, they have to turn left. It actually channelizes their active thinking as well.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we are almost through with our podcast. So in the end, I want to actually ask two questions. First is when you are working in an organization. So what is the thing that you actually see or actually feel very comfortable about?
Working in any organization, it's about that how the organization the people culture and the interaction between the senior management and the team members that you have, that's very important. That enables the culture, that sets the boundaries, and that cultivates positive interaction and your love to stay in the system or your love to stay in the organization and to be productive. That is something very important nowadays.
So, in the end, I want you to give a message for the podcast viewers, or maybe the people who are actually thinking to come in this profession of teaching or in leadership, education leadership, something that can be fruitful for their training or making their mind.
I'll be very like precise about it. We need more empathetic educators. Educator who is not just there to deliver the lesson and to wrap up themselves and finish the work. It's also about try to understand your learner, try to understand and be a good listener, because they have a lot of stories. The students have a lot of emotions. Try to connect with them, and for that, empathy comes very first. You can be a good human being, but before being a human being, you need to have that empathy, and having that understanding of using those tools and techniques is not just the bookish knowledge, it's not just the paperwork. These are real tools that the teachers need to adapt in the classroom. And once you're through with it, start educating and spreading that message to others. Educate a new teacher who's coming and joining the system, because we need people who empower others. We don't have to work in silos, and that's what leadership is all about.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
enable others.
And actually, basically, leadership is like giving the opportunity to for others to
Creating more
yes,
leaders.
to replace
Yeah.
the leaders or to come up
Yeah.
as a new leader or some new strategy,
Exactly.
anything. So, thank you so much, Afreen.
Thank
And
you
on
very
your
much.
message, I want to wrap up on that special sentence that you just uttered, and that is being a teacher. But before being a teacher, you need to be a very good human being.
Absolutely.
Because staying connected with the learners,
Yeah.
being empathetic, being a good listening ear, that is actually very important.
Very important.
We are actually going in the classes and coming out of the classes. Well, I'm not talking about all the teachers. There are some very good teachers.
Brilliant teachers.
I have met
Absolutely.
those teachers.
Exactly.
But there are some teachers who actually need to reflect when they are going in the classroom and when they are coming out of the
This
classroom.
reflection
What
is very
was
important.
actually happening over there?
Yeah.
Was there a sick child? Was there a child who actually wants to talk to you? Or maybe that particular person having some kind of a problem, maybe at home, maybe in class, maybe a bullying issue, something.
Yeah.
When you achieve that particular point, then all the classes are engaging classrooms.
Absolutely.
Right?
And
So-
then, you get that energy. Anybody will walk in your class, they can feel that aura that you're radiating.
Yes,
I think that's very
absolutely,
powerful.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Afreen. The session was very enlightening, and
Likewise, I felt the
felt
same.
great having you on my podcast.
Likewise, thank you so
And we'll
much.
be, inshallah, meeting you again soon.
Inshallah.
And thank you so much for the viewers for having us and listening us and viewing us. And please stay connected for more podcast on Leader in Me. Thank you so much and have a very good day.